Yeah, it's me, Pretty Boy Laker. Doing this from home vid. You know, just gonna talk about just what happened last night. NBA one take. This is one take. Forgot to say my NBA one take for your head. This latest NBA, what happened last night? Just two games. First game, which I gotta get into, man, is Portland versus OKC. It was a highly hype game. Also, it was a lot going on. I think as the game was going on, it was a little testy. Not saying as much of a rivalry is, but it is, Not saying there's a lot of, but it's there's always been competitive between those two teams over the years, featuring just a little thing between Dame and Westbrook. Always, go at it and things like that. So, that was going to be the marquee matchup, Dame versus Westbrook. And Dame, man, put on a show. 51 points. Man was banging threes all over. He didn't get too much help from anybody else, especially his backcourt mate CJ McCollum. But Nurk was putting in work, rebounding, getting a little something. It was a little testy. Nurk and Westbrook got into it, and it was another thing at the end of the game where Nurk was getting into it with Paul George. So it was a little testy. It was a little testy, but OKC won in overtime. The previous vid I was talking about how OKC is on the slide, and Westbrook, he just said some things that it's not us, it's not the teams, it's mainly them overthinking some things. Paul George being out, he's back now, and he played well too. He had like 37 points. But it was just it was a great game. It was a great game. Went into overtime. Televised TNT. So it was a real good game, and it's a real good game, and everything. And it was highly contested. That's my son. But it's it was a good game. It was really good, and it just says a lot. It says a lot about these two teams going down to the playoffs. A possible matchup, first round matchup, which I know will be a great, awesome series. Great and awesome, because these two. When you talk about OKC and Portland, let me just go here. Obviously, they don't get the national pub as two teams at the top of the Western Conference, because you just hear Golden State, and now you hear people saying Denver. They don't say too much about OKC and Portland. Portland, last year was swept by the Pelicans, so they always say break up this team, whatever like that. Portland don't operate the way I think a lot of these analysts say, break up the team. No. I think Portland is always, that's why they don't even got a D-League team. They develop within the organization. They draft, they develop. They make little moves right here. Not known to make too many blockbuster moves because they're more of a homegrown team. And, they didn't break it up. Did I say that they should think about trading CJ and Dame? Yeah, I went along with it. But then I thought about it. No, for what? What are they going to get back? What are they getting back in return? You're going to get back who? Who are you going to get back? That's, just as good as Dame or just as good as CJ. And then if you trade CJ, who you getting back in return? Are you going to get another scorer? What is that? That someone that can score as well as CJ or better? Or are you going to get pieces to try to, you know, to do something and have Nurk as your second option? I don't think that's not too smart. I think the matchup last year with Pelicans was just overwhelming, and they was stifled. But I think this year's a different year, and they should be back at the thick of things with a contender in the Western Conference. Now OKC is almost in the same boat. They lost last year to Utah, and Donovan Mitchell exploited the team, and Joe Ingles is throwing up bombs all over OKC's head from lack of coverage and things from Paul George and these guys. But they're back, and the offense has changed. I mean, featuring more Paul George a little bit more. He gets more handling of the ball duties. Westbrook, you know, taking away a lot of the his ball dominance. Also, you know, he's sent a lot of picks. You know, Westbrook is also dive into the basket on a lot of picks and rolls, not settling for jump shots and things like that. So he's changing his game. You know, you got to change, you know, at some point. And it worked for them. You know, it worked for them, especially last night. And, you know, these two teams, I'm telling you, man, as these two teams of anybody, I could actually say if they get one of them get the third seed, and God forbid they don't face each other, and they have to possibly go in the second round matchup against Denver. It's not clear cut that Denver's going to win. I could see OKC or Portland in the conference finals matchup against Golden State, if Golden State could hold on to the number one seed. And now the next game was Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers. This is Milwaukee, best team in the NBA, you know, record wise, and Indiana Pacers win some games, you know, still lose. Just the loss of Oladipo is devastating, but they're just moving along. They want to contend in the East, and they feel they still have enough pieces where they can still contend. I mean, possibly not the championship, going to the finals as you had when you had Oladipo there, even though he was coming back from injury, trying to work his way back, and it was kind of slow for him, but he also, you know, suffered another injury which took him out for the rest of the season. So, you know, going back to this game, the Bucks were just on the roll, especially, you know, with Giannis, but Giannis was playing the role of facilitator, making sure everything is, you know, going well, especially for Middleton and Ilyasova, and Brook Lopez is throwing up daggers from all over the place, shooting it from, my God, when Brook Lopez shoots, I'm like, this is just crazy. And I know a lot of Nets fans wish he played like that with them, instead of them giving him the ball on the post and he was just lobbying to get fouls and making the offense super slow. And so it's, like I said, it's about evaluating and fixing your game and adjusting your game to what it is. So Brook Lopez, you know, he's showing a lot of promise, especially in this Milwaukee team, and also giving Bledsoe that money, you know, secures them, you know, for the future, you know, and the main thing will be for them to sign Middleton, which I think they're gonna do, and you know, they may lose Brogdon. We don't really know right now. We gotta see what the market is out there for him, but the Bucks, you know, they're a team, man, and showed last night, you know, really blowing them out, you know, just nothing special there, just beating them, man. Giannis is really an MVP candidate because he's not playing. I mean, he really wants this crown of the East, and being the best team in the Eastern Conference means a lot to him, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to get out that first round. He wants to win the East. He wants to win the championship. He wants that on his legacy, you know, and it means a lot. That's all I got today. You know, it's NBA Onetake. You can find me on Twitter, IG, Facebook, Snapchat, everything Pretty Boy Laker. Alright? And I'm out.